I think the reason why Toy Story has survived nearly 30 years is because it was never really about toys. It was about all of us. These movies give adults a chance to look back on their own childhood, their fears, their loss, their own memories. And honestly, I think that's something I really relate to with this movie. Because for me, I know what it was like being the shy kid that nobody ever really understood and thought was kind of weird. And for me, I found it easier to just shut out the world instead of trying to be a part of it. And that is why Toy Story 5 connects with me specifically. Because underneath the story of toys versus technology, it's actually about something far deeper that we all eventually have to face. The fear of being replaced. Now, I know the big thing everybody likes to talk about with this movie is the whole tech versus toys aspect. And yes, this movie does have a lot to say about that. And I actually think it handles it pretty smartly. Because technology is never presented in a hip early 2000s way, like the Emoji Movie. Nor is it presented in some over-the-top, cartoonishly evil way. Instead, it's just presented as another form of play. The same way toys were once a new invention, technology is just the next evolution of the toy cycle. The real question is, what do you do when that new evolution makes you think you don't matter anymore? And that is exactly where Jessie comes in. While Woody is still in the movie, he doesn't really grow or learn the same way other characters do. Instead, his job is mainly just to bounce off of Buzz and give him a fun dynamic. And honestly, I am okay with that. Woody's arc is already complete in Toy Story 4. He thought he was Andy's favorite toy until he eventually decided to let him go. And then in the new movie, his whole journey was about him figuring out where he belongs. And he found that in Toy Story 4, as someone who helps find toys find their purpose. The same thing happened with a lot of the characters in Toy Story 3. Their arcs came to an end, and that leaves Jessie to take over as the new lead. And what I absolutely love about this is that this is a clear reflection of the first movie, with Jessie being afraid that tech is taking over her place. Woody was afraid that Buzz would replace him. Jessie is afraid the new generation of toys will replace her. She starts questioning whether her time with Emily even mattered. And speaking of Emily, I am really glad they decided to finally give Jessie closure. Learning that Emily loved her more than anything, and that she named her daughter Jessie. It's such a simple but emotionally powerful moment, because it proves something incredibly important. Even if a moment doesn't last forever, that doesn't mean it wasn't valuable. That is basically the entire message of the Toy Story franchise. The only thing I find weird is that this franchise keeps replacing old side characters with new side characters. Every movie seems to say goodbye to another part of the original cast, only for a new bunch of side characters to be introduced in the next movie, only for them to have the same role as the previous side characters. But hey, that might just be nostalgia talking, because you can't beat Mr. Potato Head and his dirty humor. Even if Smarty Pants is hilarious, and fills that dirty character perfectly. But this is also the whole point of Toy Story. Accepting change. And this is where Lilypad comes in. I think she's actually one of the most fascinating Pixar villains, because she's not a hero, nor is she some evil cartoonish villain. She's just the next stage of evolution, and that's what makes her interesting. The movie doesn't say technology is bad. It says technology changes the way we think and play. And that can be very exciting and also very scary. Lilypad forces Jessie to confront the idea that maybe her time is done. That even after everything she's done, sticking by Emily for as long as she did, helping Andy grow up, she still isn't worth anything. But through her relationship with other characters, especially Smarty Pants, she realizes something important. A connection with a child doesn't become less valuable just because it doesn't last forever. The memories still matter. My only real complaint from Lilypad is that I wanted to see more of her. There was just so much unused potential with the idea of a toy that represents the future. And I would have loved to see Lilypad bring out more different sides of Jessie. Another big plus for this film is the animation. Pixar has always succeeded at this, but this movie really puts its pedal to the metal. Are we sure Pixar didn't get Sony to help them out with the animation? Because there are so many incredible details. When we see things from a tech character's perspective, the screen becomes pixelated. The fantasy sequences are also amazing, with this storybook childlike drawings that makes Barney and Blaze's playtime feel so much more exciting than Andy's. And I think this is the perfect way to continue the idea of a reset. Instead of just repeating what came before, this movie changes the way we think about playtime. How it changes, how it grows over time with new creations. Even the world feels more focused, with far fewer sets that are far more developed and detailed than anything Pixar has ever done before. And I think this actually brings us to why Toy Story has lasted this long. It was never about keeping things the same. It was about growing up, because eventually everything changes. New, fancier toys will come along. New technology will keep appearing. But the one thing that always will stay the same is that these characters are a family.